is a great ambassador for comic books and Spider-Man. Just some great stuff, great content. You can always check his stuff out. He's been on guests on the show before, so we have links in the past two episodes. But also, Zach, what specifically is going on right now at Spidey Dude Radio? What are the latest happenings over there?
So the we just wrapped up. Oh, we just did our Ultimate Spider-Man episode yesterday as of this recording. And
Nice.
so we just covered the 12th issue of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm.
Normally we would be doing a spectacular Spider-Man episode, but we're gonna wait until the next one comes out because it's supposed to come out on the 1st. So we're gonna wait until the new year and cover both of those.
Nice.
I'm working on some action. I'm working on my top 10 list of top 10 Marvel Legends for the year on the channel.
Nice.
So that's going to try to come out.
Nice.
We have our Slot Symposium, which is our crossover with the Comic Bench podcast or YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And we do where we're going through this Dan Slott era. We are actually going to be doing Big Time, and that's going to come out on the 30th. So
nice.
Yeah. So, and we're streaming right now on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page. So,
Perfect.
yeah. So I just got done sharing. I just posted it on SpideyDude.com. The breaking news of Joe Kelly, Pepe Larraz, and John Romita Jr.'s new Amazing Spider-Man #1, which is now Volume 7.
Dang.
Yeah, it's either Volume 7. So they'll keep the legacy numbering, but yeah. So that is going to start in April, which I'm a little surprised they did it before the end of the year, but
happy birthday to me. I'm an
Right?
April baby, so that is going to be great. I can't wait.
Me and Stan Lee have the same birthday on December 28th.
Nice.
So it's a little early birthday gift for us.
Yes.
So yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Man, I'm very excited about specifically, I liked the Joe Kelly. Wasn't he one of the rotating writers during that era of Spider-Man, that Dan Slott, that just, what was it, like the Big Time,
Brand New Day.
Yeah, Brand New Day. Like that era to me was like such a pivotal moment in my Spider reading. And I was reading like every book that was coming out. So I have fond memories of that time period. So that's what I kind of associate Joe Kelly with. And then Pepe Larraz and John Romita Jr., like, there's no question. I have to have those.
I knew that John was staying on because I got to meet him.
Oh, nice.
He was at a con in my town, and he actually has moved to Austin.
Oh, wow.
He moved to Austin, Texas from New York.
That's where I was born.
Well, he his one of his grandkids or one of his kids lives in Austin, and so he's got grandkids, and they really were just tired of having to pay all the stuff in New York. And given that the kids were all kind of spread out in the country, he liked the weather too. So we made jokes. He goes, "I got out of New York as fast as I could." But he was great. In fact, got some stuff.
Got some presents here.
I have to get these framed.
Ooh.
But I have a headshot sketch.
Oh, yes.
And then these were posters that he had at his table. So
I had that one.
Got the full John Romita Jr. autograph
Nice.
there. And then this was the poster that was for the meet and greet. We all got this was like an exclusive for that meet and greet. So
nice. That is nice.
So that was, it was really, really cool. Super, super nice guy. So I knew because he had mentioned he was going to be doing stuff with Joe Kelly. So I knew that Romita Jr. was definitely staying on. And I mean, they had said, Nick Lowe had said that that John Romita was staying on. So we all kind of knew that. But the Pepe Larraz thing was a complete surprise for me. And I was just telling you before the show. We do a show for our Patreon called Books of X, and Books of X covers the Hickman era on X-Men, which is something that my graphics monkey, as he refers to himself as, Neil, he loves that era of X-Men, and so he's a big Hickman fan. So we launched that as our Patreon exclusive show, and then obviously we talk a lot about Hickman stuff in the Ultimate Spidey Experience, which this year, man, we did 40 episodes just of Spidey Experience this year, which is the most we've ever done in a single year, which is just incredible. We talked when we talked last time. Ultimate, I think, just maybe had came out, the first issue, right. And then we had Spectacular Spider-Man coming out, and we did the interview with Greg Weisman.
Yeah,
and
great interview, by the way.
Oh, Greg is such an easy guy to talk to, and we're planning on. My plan is to try to bring him back on early next year.
Nice.
To kind of talk about year 2, and so. Definitely looking forward to that. The clip of him talking about Spectacular Spider-Man's cameo in Across the Spider-Verse, that thing blew up like crazy.
Nice.
That got oh man, I haven't even looked at what the last time what the view count was, but it was, I mean, it was ridiculous. 300 plus comments, which is not common for us at all.
That's great engagement.
That honestly was part of the catalyst. We ended up getting into the YouTube partner
nice
program because of that one video.
Oh man, that's how it happens. That's a lot of the time that's how it happens. Yeah.
And so we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, but we almost doubled the amount of subscribers for the year.
Nice.
Just from the beginning of the year to now. And so it's been crazy. The shorts have been huge. So it's been a really great year for us on the channel, and continuing to grow. And we got our audio shows are continuing to grow. We're about one of our shows is going to be wrapping up next year. The Salby Cinema Era podcast, because he's like, I'm going to do everything up until the Clone Saga, and then I'm like going to say, just go listen to Clone Saga Chronicles. I was like, that's fair. I accidentally inspired somebody else to do a show, which is kind of fun.
Oh wow!
I had announced that my plans for doing a show that covered from the Clone Saga to the Mackie Byrne reboot.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to do it when I finished Make My Mayday, which that's still going on. Nice. And these two guys were like, we're just going to start doing our show. And I'm like, great. Go do it, buddy. They even used the name that I had for it. And I was like, all right. I was tickled pink, man. They're two fans of mine. And it's like, I've been in this game so long, I'm inspiring the other generation.
Yes.
I'm going to need some tennis balls for my walker for Christmas.
That's how you know you're making an impact, Zach. There's other people following in your footsteps. I got to tell you, the Spidey Dude Network has been a real inspiration for me because I've been on a few different networks, kind of almost in name only. And I think we didn't have the synergy and the connection between the shows. All of your shows, they have this great branding to them. They have a great core element to each one. And then they all kind of link together in like a web of like spider content. So I really enjoy a lot of the stuff that you guys are putting out. And I just have to say kudos to you because you've been doing it, like you said, for so long, and you've been able to keep up the consistency, the quality, and not drop off. You're just always inspiring me every day. So thank you very much, my friend.
Well, that truly is thank you. I mean, I've got a great group. I cannot stress that enough. I have not done a solo episode until I did the ASM episode the week before, which was kind of like walking on a tightrope without a net for me because I don't have somebody to bounce off of. It's just me
right.
and the comment
I know
section.
that. Yep, I know that feeling.
And so, I really I really enjoy doing things like that. Like it was such like, okay, this is a cool experiment. I haven't done this. I had done solo shows like that were pre-recorded, so I could edit myself and my ums and my ahs, and there wasn't any pauses. But when you're doing it live, as Bill O'Reilly once yelled, we'll do it live.
Yes.
I actually have that on my soundboard just for friends.
Nice.
But yeah, thanks, Wonder Rob. But yeah, I just doing the shows, it's brought me a lot of joy. It sometimes, that and my kid are some of the things that get me out of bed in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, it's the fact that we've got as many patrons as we do now and everything, and that's a large part due to Voices from the Eyrie and what that show has accomplished, which their last show of the year is actually going to drop this evening, I think, at sundown.
Oh, nice.
People did not understand that because it's supposed to be on Fridays, and I'm like, but he always puts it out on Thursday at sundown.
Yes,
because gargoyles.
Nice. Fireball Neil is saying that you have no right to complain about your age, youngster.
Oh, that's my buddy Walter. So,
and do you like voicemails? We got to know.
I do. He's been my voicemail guy for the last 6 months or longer, and so. But we're always a little scared because he'll send voicemails while we're doing the live stream, and so I don't have a chance to listen to them.
Yes.
And then I lost a bet. I don't know if you saw that, where I wore a Spider-Gwen costume and then the wig that came with it on the stream, and yeah. So then one of the voicemails was him literally cackling like a madman.
Oh man, that's great.
Because I don't think he thought I'd do it. But when it got to my house and I was like, oh, okay. I got the wig first and I was like, what the hell is this? Yeah. He's like, the rest of it's coming tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Hey.
So
well, see, that's the type of amazingness you're going to get when you tune in to Spidey Dude Radio. Like I said, I have a link in our show notes after this is done. Because the live kind of was a little bit impromptu, so I didn't have time to fully set it up like I normally do. Yeah. But I'll have afterwards, if you're watching this, I'll have all of the details. And like I said, we've had Zach on a previous episode, so definitely check out our previous talk. We always love talking Spider-Man, and like you said, that was at the beginning of Ultimate Spider-Man. So actually, I did want to get your 1 year take now. Like we've had 12 issues of this new Ultimate Spider-Man. How are you feeling now compared to how you were feeling after issue 1?
To me, I feel like it is the best Spider-Man book on the market. And I've really enjoyed Spec Spider-Man a lot. And I know I'm biased because I've known Greg now forever. But it's been really kind of fun because Ashley is my friend who I brought in with Ultimate Spider-Man, and then she decided, I was like, hey, you want to talk about Spec? And she's like, sure. And so she's been a bit of my curmudgeon when it comes to Spec a little bit. But I think she is, telling all her friends about that book and sharing it with all her friends. And I think it's a book that definitely is extremely well written. The artwork is Marco Cicchetto is just killing it. The absolute I loved him during Brand New Day. He was a fill-in artist a few times, and then he did the Punisher series, which basically just relied on his visuals for a lot of it. Around that time, where they treated Frank as there was like hardly any dialogue, and it's just treating Frank as a force of nature, which I think is the kind of the way to go with Frank. But yeah, man, I've always loved his artwork. He's one of my favorite artists. Hickman is doing just a real bang up job with this Ultimate Universe, and even the Ultimates has been really a great read. It's not just I haven't really read the X-Men or the Black Panther book, but I've read Ultimates, and it's really good.
Yes.
You know, you're calling yourself Absolute Vactor. I'm enjoying the Absolute books as well.
Yes,
I think DC's doing really. The Superman trailer came out today, and I loved it. I loved it. You know, and I knew I knew in my brain when it was James Gunn, he's writing the book or writing the script and directing. The thing about the Guardians movies to me is they really got to the heart of the characters.
Yes.
And I knew that he was going to do that with Superman. And just in this trailer alone, I think ticked a lot of the boxes that I love the Crypto bit. That was awesome.
Yes.
When I saw Crypto, I was like, yes. It's goofy. I mean, but like, come on, you can't. Who hates a super dog? I mean, honestly, anybody that does, you know, I don't. I haven't seen the Snyder fanboys, you know, screaming into the void yet, but but honestly, I think everybody that was excited is probably even more excited by it. It's going to be very interesting to see them go head to head with Fantastic Four. But I think a stronger DC is better for the market, in my opinion, because it's going to make Marvel better.
Yep.
Maybe I'm cautiously optimistic about the Sony news that came out last week. Kraven the Hunter has not done well. Madam, but I've been told like it's not a bad movie. It's bad, but it's not like Madam Web bad. I think that's now our floor officially for comic book movies. It's right there with Catwoman. But I mean, it really is a good time to be a comic book fan. Like if you like the comic books between DC and Marvel, I love the fact that DC's putting books in freaking Dollar Trees. To me, that's slam dunk. Like bundle them for a $1.99. Like, yeah, you know, when I go to Ollie's, I'll peruse through those. They've got similar bagged books. They're all from the 90s. I'm pretty sure they were all from Hastings. Because you know, at one time Hastings was they were the largest retailer, and they were based out of the big city near my hometown of Amarillo, Texas. And they would still be open if they had known that the company that they sold to was going to liquidate. But they never indicated they were going to do any type of liquidation. And so when they sold, it was too late for them to pull back on the deal. And so, yeah, but at one time they were the largest comic book retailer. So they had a ton of back issues that they had bought. And so I'm sure that, you know, they had a warehouse full, most of them from the 90s. Cause you know, it's the 90s.
Yeah, sounds
but
right.
they I think Ultimate really is knocked it out of the park. I've really enjoyed Spec Spider-Man a lot. I love the fact that we have a supporting cast for that book. Greg just does really good job world building. I'm not a huge fan of Arcade. Like I liked him okay. But for the most part, like I like the banter and the interplay between Miles and Peter. Peter's a bit of a goofball. Miles is trying to be hard to be the adult. And I think ASM, it's been okay. It's not been great. You know, the Wells run when he was doing the Tombstone stuff, I really liked it a lot. I liked that a lot more. It kind of felt like, but it kind of feels like ASM's been spinning its wheels. The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, it's been okay. It's not a story that I would have chosen for Spider-Man, but I know that that's like the whole point of it. So that's why there was a little bit of surprise, I think, from the fandom, because the way that Nicolo talked was I can only get Joe Kelly for a short run. So we're thinking, okay, well, is it just going to be for 8 deaths? But then, like, John had said, oh, yeah, Joe Kelly's doing the new stuff. So he was working on that. And this was in September. So, and he actually he said if they would let me, I would do 24 issues a year, but they don't let me.
Oh, wow. Dang.
And I'm like, yeah, but I'm okay with you doing like 12 to 16 issues a year sometimes. Yes. So, you know, I did you hear about Mark Bagley retiring from interiors?
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, he is wow. Retiring from doing interior work. He's just going to do covers now.
Dang.
He's just going to be like J. Scott Campbell, except less underboob. Or boob socks is what we like to call it. I'm like, that's not how female anatomy works. It's not body paint there.
Yes,
Scott.
I just looked him up. He's currently 67. Yeah, that's interesting. That was like after John Romita Sr., that was the artist that I latched onto, because John Romita Sr. was all over the merchandise, everywhere. It was like coloring books and lunchboxes. But then in the 90s, it was the late 90s, the Clone Saga and Bagley's Spider-Man. And I don't know why, but in particular, when he would do a profile shot and like the nose would stick out, just that shape for some reason, and then the way the body shape, it was like, oh, that is Spider-Man to me. Like, that was how I identified Spider-Man. And then when Ultimate came out, I was like, oh, this is Spider-Man for me. So Bagley was one of those artists that for a long period of time, it was like, that was the definition of Spider-Man to me. So that is kind of a somber note. I really didn't like when he went over to DC and he was doing like the Trinity stuff. It was like, this doesn't feel right. Like, he feels to me like he is a forever Spider-Man artist. So that was a little bit kind of bittersweet to me when he left. But yeah, his career has been pretty stellar. Like, he put out so much, especially breaking the record with Bendis, doing the consecutive number of issues, and the way he was able to be so consistent and put out books every month. It's like, that's
he was doing it. They were doing 18 issues a year, and he was just but that's also been 20 years ago. He's in his 40s.
right.
What's crazy to me is I look at somebody like a Ron Friends, and I follow him on Facebook, and it's like he posts the commissions he does, and it's like, dude, that man still got it, and he's around the same age, and him and I think Bagley started, I think, in the late 80s because of the Marvel tryout book that they did, that Shooter put out. And so and I think Ron, I think, started in like 1980. So right. But like, those guys, I mean, they're master craftsmen. And I love that he gets to go out on his terms. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. That is fantastic, man. Just got to give him all of his flowers. He was, like I said, a defining pillar to me for Spidey. And I'm with you on Ultimate Spider-Man. I kind of wish Amazing was what Ultimate is right now. Like, the book that I want to read every month. I'm excited about it. Every single time a new issue comes out, I'm like, it goes to the top of my stack. Like, that is the first thing I want to read. And like you said, Amazing has just been okay. I haven't hated it as much as I've seen a lot of people online like, we're calling for his head. We want to kill him.
Dude, the online discourse is exhausting. As somebody that's actively like involved in Spider-Man Twitter, because I promote everything on Twitter, it is the most exhausting fandom at times. I know Star Wars fandom is exhausting too, so it's like but like, man, and then obviously it's Snyder Bros, but I just look, do I want new editorial? Yes. I definitely want I would like new blood for Marvel editorial. Nick Lowe's been there. I mean, he succeeded Whacker, which was in the middle of Slot's run. So it's like, okay, you know, Nick Lowe's been there a long time. I'm ready for somebody. If the vision is not from the writer itself, I'm ready for a new vision editorially. And do I think it's going to change? Like, is Spider-Man going to be married? No, as long as certain people are there, like Brevoort and by proxy Lowe and everything. Peter's not going to be married, but can he be with Mary Jane? Now, don't get me wrong. The Shay stuff, Shay is far more of an interesting character. And I'm more intrigued with how they're doing it. It's not to me like how Carly Cooper was, where it beats you over the head with how perfect Carly Cooper is.
Right.
To me, it feels a little more organic with Shay. I don't care about the Paul character, and I know there's a lot of like strife when it comes to Paul and MJ. I don't like that Mary Jane's with somebody else. I definitely don't like that Mary Jane's a freaking superhero. It's like, is that the only arrow we can shoot with these supporting characters? Like it's gotten to the point where, I mean, Flash and Mary Jane and hell, Liz Allen had a freaking symbiote for a point in time. It's like, guys, you're the house of ideas, not the house of idea. Like we're doing the same thing over and over again. But you know, I do love Carlos Gomez on the Venom, the all new Venom book. I did read that, and everybody's like, "Oh, Paul showed up." I'm like, somebody emailed Gomez and said, "Congratulations on the new book, but since Paul's in there, I can't pick it up." I'm like, why would you send that email to the artist? Like, oh god, don't do jackpot puns. This is what he trolls me with. Reading ASM is an act of dread for me because of the roller coaster of quality is not something he's looking for. Yeah, because like, well, the running joke is now all my co-hosts have fled ASM, and so Walter's gonna host with me now. I think eventually Adam's gonna return, who's been my stalwart co-host. He's been on almost every episode, and so he's like, I want to kind of let like the 8 deaths story kind of get halfway through, and I'm going to read them all at once. I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I think I think visually Spider-Man's in a really great place.
Yes.
I think that I was sad that Humberto Ramos got pulled off of Spectacular Spider-Man. But you know, all these newer artists that I'm seeing, it's really, really great to see them try to do and put their imprint on Spidey. It is like ASM's okay. It could be worse. Trust me, I've read a lot worse books of Amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
I mean, the Mackie Byrne reboot, God bless Howard Mackie. That man was so burnt out, he was toast. Literal toast. And as somebody that's been reading Spider-Man, I literally started from the beginning. This was a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. And I've been reading Spider-Man, and I'm all the way through the Clone Saga, rereading it.
Nice.
And so now I'm about to start that, Forgotten Era, pun intended, which is the name of that podcast I was mentioning earlier. And going to go through that, and then to the JMS run, and then Brand New Day. Obviously, I've been reading a lot of that due to the Slot Symposium, so I'm kind of like, almost there through my read through. But like I've read a lot of Spider-Man, and there was some satellite stories that were not great. Mad Dog Ward, not so bueno. Return to the Mad Dog Ward was not that good. But then you got stuff like Kraven's Last Hunt, and you're like, okay, well, inject that in my veins. Yeah. Have you seen the Kraven movie?
No, and what's weird is up until, let's see, actually, you know what? Up until Morbius, the only comic book superhero movie I had not seen was the Fantastic Four stick, the Trank.
The Trank Fox meddling.
That was the only movie I had not seen. I have not seen Morbius. I've not seen Madam Web, and I have not seen Craven. Venom is the only one that I'm like, all right, this is the not Spidey one that I will watch because it's Venom, and I like Tom Hardy. So
Yeah.
I have not seen Craven yet. I don't know if I will.
Well, Madam Web is on Netflix, so if you want some unintentional hilarity, definitely one of those things you have to see it to believe it. Just the ADR alone being as bad as it is. I remember going to the theater. I'm like, that is not what that man is saying. That dialogue does not match his lips. And when I could see that in the theater and notice that in the theater, but yeah, I was like, wow. I'm going to try to go see it just so that way because I mean, hell, I watched Madam Web, but I did not pay full price. I did matinee price. It was only $7 of my time wasted. Okay. I didn't even get snacks. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just raw dog through this.
I was gonna say, don't punish the theater for their choice to exhibit this.
Well, it's Sony's fault, see, and now next time, if I'm gonna go see it, it's probably gonna be me and my dad when he comes in for the holidays. We're probably gonna go watch it. Okay. So I'm like, okay, we'll go watch this together. But and especially because I heard that there's a Miles Warren thing in there somehow. So I'm like, now I'm like contractually obligated to go watch it. It's been really involved. I did see a clip that was posted that they did do Chameleon right, which I was like, okay, you can do some things right. The visuals are,
See, what's kind of crazy is like they did Craven so well in the Spider-Man 2 video game. It's like, I don't want, like, I already got a great version of Craven recently.
Which I have not played. Oh, well, okay. I did, my buddy has a PS5 and I did crossplay through my PS4 and I played the first mission.
Okay.
And then I also looked at all the costumes, which is like been the bane. So Neil was like, hey, let's do like one of those tier videos of like we're doing the tier list of different of different costumes. So we did it for the first game, and then we did it for the Miles Morales game, and then he decided let's do the tier list for the new game. So including like the variations of the costumes in the new game, and oh my god, that was the recording itself was like 2 hours and 20 minutes. And trying to edit that down into something that's more digestible has been the bane of for Neil's existence, because he does do some video editing for us too. But then he's like, I got other paying gigs that he has to like put on the front burner, so it's been constantly on the back burner. So sometime in 2025 we'll have the tier list. There's a possibility I may get a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. So if I do, then I'll definitely be playing Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
So I'll get to actually see that version of Craven, because I've heard that exact thing, that the joke was maybe they're pushing Craven off because they don't want it to be so close to the game. But if the rumors are true that Sony is basically coming hat in hand and saying, let us do Spider-Man 4 together, and then that's it. We'll sell you the rest of the rights back. I think it's going to be a net positive for Spider-Man fans, especially if there's going to be a soft reboot of the MCU. And Miles probably is going to potentially be introduced in this upcoming Spider-Man.
Oh man.
And so
yes,
which would fit really into a lot of what the all new, all different Marvel, which had a bit of controversy after Secret Wars 3 or 4. I think it was technically Secret Wars 4, because Secret Wars 3 was technically like a Fantastic Four arc, I think.
And then yes.
Secret Wars 2, which the fact that the Beyonder got a Marvel Legend also makes me smile. Like, that's one that I'm like, do I need it? No. Like the black suit from that line, I definitely need. But like, do I want it? Kinda. I kind of want that in Titania. I had a Absorbing Man, the Build-A-Figure, and I'm gonna have to. I'd sold him, and I kind of feel I kind of hate that I did because I could get Titania and him back together and on my shelf. I just got to figure out. I need more shelf space. It's my biggest issue.
That is, yes, a very a very relatable issue. I definitely have had those times in the past where I'm like, man, I wish I just had more shelf space. But I've limited myself to one shelf, and I'm like, all right, if I go past this, then like my wallet is going to explode. So let me just keep it tight.
I have been a lot more discerning when it comes to like I did pre-order the Lizard that they just released or announced. I did do the pre-order for that. It's not going to come out till August, which my wallet's going to hurt that month because I did pre-order the X-Men 97 Sentinel.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where the hell I'm going to put it, but I did pre-order it.
Yes.
Because I was like, that's the Sentinel in my mind's eye.
Yes.
And I don't want to pay like $500 for the other Sentinel, which is a fantastic Marvel Legend, but I just don't have. So like, I am going to have to figure, I'm going to probably get a new bookshelf sooner rather than later. And then I'm going to put my comics in that bookshelf and then
nice,
make the rest of it my display for my Legends. But
yes.
I think there was Dragon Man. I also pre-ordered Dragon Man. So
okay, yes.
So like I'm gonna have to like carve out like a chunk of change for that month.
Man, yes.
Because I mean that Dragon Man's gorgeous, man. Like I'm like, oh man, Dragon Man looks great. The Sentinel looks great. Freaking Hasbro's like, hey, we're gonna pull out all the stops this year because there's rumors and innuendo, as I like to say, that's that after 2025, the license with Marvel may be up for renewal, and that Hasbro may not get to keep the license. And it may go to McFarlane, which. I like some of the McFarlane, but the amount that they put out, their output is nuts when it comes to like DC Universe. I couldn't collect that stuff because I just would be like, it's like a freaking fire hose. It's like, man, I'm not going to create a special display for the Ghost Rider costume. It's going to get hung up in my closet. Because that's gonna lead to a series of questions when I try to bring a chick over for a movie night, and they're gonna be like, "Why is there a Spider-Gwen costume hanging up on your wall, a la Spider-Man 2 from Jonah?"
That seems like a sitcom or something like
that. Yes. Oh yeah, and then you got my dog in the background who's she's a her and the Chocolate Lab are common photo bombers
nice.
on the show. So that's my mutt.
Yes. I actually didn't get a chance to tell you. I don't think I got the chance to see. You were talking about Miles. That's what kind of brought this into my head. Across the Spider-Verse with a live orchestra here. They projected the movie, and then they had the orchestra playing, and there was a DJ scratching right there. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was this much scratching in the soundtrack." But that was a great experience, and I brought my wife because we watched it originally when it came out, and she was put off by the way that Miles was treated. So she was like, "I don't like this one as much as Into the Spider-Verse because I feel like everybody was taking a dump on Miles." And I was kind of like, "Oh, but you got to give it like that's the."
I was very engrossed. I got to take my daughter to that when it came out in theaters. Was it last year?
Yeah, time is now blurring. I can't remember if it was it last year? Let me look it up real quick because now that Beyond the Spider-Verse keeps getting pushed back, I'm like, because at one point I was like, okay, it'll be this. Yes, last year. Yep.
Yeah, I remember around last Christmas, we went and watched it with my daughter, and she really liked it. She loved Ghost Spider, which is why I'm hanging that up in my closet, Walter, so that way, like, my daughter doesn't try to ask me questions as to why Daddy has a Spider-Gwen suit. I might let her play with the wig, though. That might be fun.
Nice.
Because, like, the wig literally is right here.
Oh, wow. Is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah.
But I had a second chance to see it with her, and I think she was more focused this time and actually was like, oh, that was actually a really good story that was being told. Because I think the first time, it was one of those experiences like, you're seeing it for the first time. There's like so many stimulus that's going on, and the second time you watch it, you're like, "Oh, I'm picking up on things I didn't the first time."
Yeah.
So we had a really good time afterwards because she was like, "Oh, I really like that," and my Spidey heart was full. I was like, "Yeah, it was a great experience to see it, like I said, live and have the full orchestra there." So I'm going to try to see some more of those.
Walter, I'm not going to scar my child for life, okay?
Walter is the star of this episode. Walter, can you come over and be on my chats on every episode? This would be fantastic. And you could continue to troll Zach even when he's not here, but do it.
He already does. Like, he does it on Crawl Space. Like, he'll make references to me, and like people will be over everybody's head except for like the ones that are also fans of me, like my buddy Vinkman. Which I found out today, like, he usually sends a care package for the holidays, and he hadn't sent one, and it came up on like my time hop. I was like, oh yeah, I probably should ask him if he shipped something out. And sure enough, he did. He's like, I got a small package sending to you. I was like, damn it, Vinkman. It's things like that. Like, having fans is something that there's a bit of imposter syndrome for me a little bit, and it's like, man, am I worthy of such things? You know what I mean? And I think it's just, that has been something that the last 4 years has shown me, is that there are people that legitimately, and I knew that happened before because I saw that with Clone Saga Chronicles, but it became so infrequent because I was doing so much with Crawl Space, and I was spending so much time with that it was, the adulation was not individualized. It was more for the group. And so, you know, getting that type of individual adulation has been something that's been, it's been a trip, man.
That's fantastic.
I am not a fan. I am your Wow. Okay, Roddy Piper. I just saw a clip of him, of Roddy Piper, when he first returned to WCW. I was like, oh yeah, reality check. Yeah.
On It's Always Sunny, and that's my wife's favorite show of all time. And when he showed up, I was like, I started laughing.
Dude, you know who? Okay, you talked about Bagley. So you're a wrestling guy, right?
Yes.
Like, Finn Balor's physique reminds me of Bagley in the 90s with the 8-pack and everything.
Okay.
Like,
yes.
I got to thinking about that when you're talking about, like, in your mind's eye. I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of, yeah.
Dang.
Definitely. Maybe a little bit in the pec area and the shoulders, but like, definitely from like his, Doink the Clown.
I was gonna say the height too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wonder Rob is my Walter, and he has no wrestling knowledge except for Doink the Clown. So this year for Christmas, I got him a Doink the Clown figure, and that is his avatar on Rob, you need to have it on YouTube. That's his avatar on Discord. Doink the Clown was what he grew up with, and he just never stopped. That's like, wrestling stopped with Doink the Clown for him. So all of his professional wrestling knowledge.
So basically the end of the new generation era, he's like, screw the Attitude Era, we don't need that.
So that's
dude,
what the Doink the Clown reference.
Speaking of eating good, when it comes to wrestling, like, WWE has been cooking this year.
Yes, yeah.
WrestleMania 40 was phenomenal. And my middle name is.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be 2 nights from now on. Is that gonna be like okay.
Yeah, they started doing that, I think, during the pandemic and during
COVID. That's right.
And so, because part of the problem was, like, if you remember, like, in 2019, like I remember that WrestleMania was like 7 hours long. And it was like
yeah.
trying to put all that stuff into one night. Like to me, I would have hated trying to sit through.
Yeah.
I would have hated trying to sit through like that in one night.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but to me, I think it's a slam dunk. Now I hear that the freaking this year's WrestleMania is astronomically expensive because it's in Vegas, at Allegiant Stadium, which is a very nice stadium. I haven't been in it, but I went in 2019 as they were like just finishing it up before they had all the exterior work had been done. I think they were about to put on the roof, and I'm like, dang, like that's and the city was a buzz with Raider because they had some of the merchants had actually went to Oakland, bought a bunch of Raider stuff, and then brought it to Vegas because they couldn't officially sell Las Vegas Raiders stuff until like I think it was like January 1st of 2020.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. That makes sense.
Don't worry, WWE is getting a loan from Mr. Dude. Listen, if I had a 10th of the audience that Beast has, I'd be okay. I wouldn't be in this apartment. I'd actually be in a real house.
Yeah. Well, I think the key element that I'm also chasing is like what you're getting the Patreon, the audience specific engagement. That's something that I'm still chasing at this point of connecting to a specific group and saying, hey, I know that guy. Like I might be friends with that guy, or, like I respect his opinions. And so that's what I have with a lot of podcasts that I listen to, where I've had like a 10-year relationship with people that I've never met before. And I'm like, yeah, I will pay them $5 a month to support them because I feel like I know them at this point. That's what I'm kind of chasing right now, is like getting that foothold with people and saying, hey, I want to be welcome in your home on a weekly basis. So I'm, like I said, you're my inspiration.
Dude, you were one of the first. One of the things, and I love Brad. I do. Brad's like one of my buddies, and he's like my older brother. But because crawl space is so big and there's so much time that's devoted to it. Got jokes. Got jokes. That's 2 ex-wives, buddy. That's exactly what it. Pretty sure the beginning of the end of my marriage was taking my second wife to Morbius. No joke. We go in there and we watch the movie, and she looked at me and she goes, "Okay, sweetheart, I will go to every MCU movie, but please don't make me go to another Sony one that's not like not like the animated." Like she basically like forbid me from taking her to any more of the Sony verse. Because she's like, that was horrible. She's like, I hated it. She's like, did you like it? I was like, not particularly. Now, speaking of crawl space, the biggest Morbius fan I know, I remember I texted him the next day and I was like, okay, did you see the movie? Yes. Did you like it? He goes, I loved it. I said, that's all I care about. Like, you know what? If you loved it, great. But I hated it. Which is not uncommon for him and I, because we had opposite tastes and it was always fun. But getting back to what I was saying just a second ago, one of the things that I wanted to do when I started on my own 4 years ago was I want to network more and talk with be on other shows and talk with other people and connect that way and be able to hopefully bring an audience to them and me, and then bring an audience to me. And we have that mutually beneficial relationship. So, and you were one of the very first that I reached out to, thanks to partly Paul. And I love Paul. He is my contrarian a lot of times because we have very similar views, but also we have some very different views when it comes to Spider-Man in particular. And so it kind of makes a different dynamic on ASM and stuff. But we just the the scheduling hasn't worked out with ASM. But yeah, I love Ultimate. He does not like Spec, which has been kind of funny. So like last time we had the Spidey episode, he came in and it was a bit of that antithesis, had that in that voice that was like, this is why I don't like it, because I don't care about supporting cast and stuff like that. He cares more about Peter. And I'm like, yeah, Peter and Miles, they should be kind of the star of the show, but like I like that it kind of does its own thing, and it's kind of a completely quasi-independent book,
right?
Which is what I feel like needed. It doesn't need to sit there and be weighed down by either Miles's book or ASM. Let them be them. Although Miles's book is, Cody Ziegler is killing it.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw, I think this was on Spider Talk, that the Kamala Khan thing, that was a edict from, that was like one of the rare edicts from, from Feige.
Yeah, I did see that.
I think Ziegler got in a little bit of trouble for that.
Yeah.
But no, because of the Greg thing, I mean, I'm on the Marvel PR list, so I get the press releases now, and gotten to know the Marvel PR guy, and my buddy Josh, who I started the entire network with. I mean, he just released his top 3 things of 2024 for DC, because he's a freelance writer for DC Comics.
Nice.
Not like the comics themselves, but like the website, dccomics.com.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets all the early stuff. So I think he went and saw Craven. He's like, oh yeah, that was a thing. But yeah, man, I mean, just seeing how much I've grown and how much the channel's grown and how others have grown, like, it's awesome to see. Like, to me, it's such a wonderful thing. And I think, I am honored and humbled by you saying I'm an inspiration to you, because you're definitely an inspiration to me. I love your setup. I love how the enthusiasm you have when it comes to comics is something that is just infectious. And so it's like, man, that's why I enjoy coming on the show so much. It's like, man, I love, getting to talk with people that I wouldn't have previously talked to. The fact that our stuff, who's Caden? Do we have a shout out for Caden?
Caden, hello. Thank you for joining.
I didn't know if there was like a specific shout out we wanted to shout him out. But yeah, no, I think, also trying to learn the algorithm, that's been kind of a,
it's like a game. It's like,
it really is. Like the thing, like putting the simple hashtag of shorts on a short gets me more engagement. Of course, a lot of my shorts are, hey, this is an action figure. And, but because of that, between the Greg Weisman thing and then the shorts, that's been such a driver of my growth. But then, like, I look at like the clips that you'll do probably from this episode. It's like, man, you did such a good job with those clips. I'm very envious. And I'm like, I got to start doing that more with the show and stuff. And then depending on if TikTok is gonna rest in peace.
Yeah. I'm trying to decide how much time and effort do I put into TikTok? Like, I could be using that time into YouTube. Like,
yeah, it's one of those things. It's a different type of audience. And I think that the one thing about TikTok that I do like is that you can go up to 10 minutes. And they are rolling out the 3-minute shorts. So at least we're not tied to that 1 minute. Because, like, let me tell you, trying to talk about an action figure in a minute is a challenge.
Yes, I've been there.
What people don't realize is there's usually about like 4 different takes that don't get posted of me trying to talk about this. Yes,
that
I know
so well.
the shiny glare because of my lights. I could probably be a death ray of my bald head. But yeah, just so to me, I love doing this, and I love doing the shorts and doing the breaking, like doing the breaking news. I did the breaking news right before we went live. I did a short for that because I was like, oh, I need to go ahead and do that, and so I've got such a great group that, Adam sometimes is my him and Neil kind of crack the whip on me and be like, hey, go do this and this and this. I'm like, okay, yeah, I had to do that. But so, I expect fully next year we'll get to, our 1,000 subs, and then hopefully the growth will just continue to boil over there and go from there. So,
yes,
man, yeah,
I think 2025 is going to be a great year for you, and I can't wait to have this talk at the end of next year to see how much.
Listen, we may have to do like a mid-year.
Yes.
Like let's do this more often. I'm down.
Yes.
And you know what? I need to bring you on.
Yes.
Even though we do, are you a mountain zone?
Yes, I am mountain, which I'm in the mountain, which changes because Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time. So half the year I'm on mountain, and then half the year I'm on Pacific. So I'm in that thing.
Well, hopefully they're going to eliminate daylight savings time.
Ooh, now that
I saw our incoming president say, I'm going to eliminate the daylight savings time. It's just going to happen.
Oh man. When I started this stream, I did not know we were going to get an amazing Trump impression. This is fantastic.
Yeah. I troll my staff with with Donald Trump a little,
Well, we're gonna have 4 years, another 4 years of that impression. That'll be great. But yeah, I'm really.
I've even got for my Biden.
Oh man,
hang on, I got a little prop.
Oh man,
real good. It's real good. Let this comment cook.
I never knew that Zach was this talented. He's got many
I've got
talents.
all sorts of impressions.
Well, we need to hear more of your impressions. So please come back, and also you help me on these live streams because that is the area that I feel the least confident in out of long form videos, short form videos, posting on like the feed. I'm pretty comfortable there, but these lives, I'm just like, I don't know how to position them and to make them like interesting. So I think you helped me on this. So please continue to come back.
My people will talk to your people.
Yes. Excellent. Zach, please tell everyone where they can find you. Although, like I said, if you want to read it, it'll be down in the comments down below. But please tell everyone where they can find you.
So you can find me over at spidey-dude.com. You can also find us, the YouTube channel. If you've not already found us, it's over at youtube.com/SpideyDude Radio Network. You can find me on Instagram at SpideyDude Network and at SpideyDude Official. You can find me on Facebook at SpideyDude Network. Patreon.com/SpideyDude Network is our Patreon page. And Twitch, anything pretty much Spidey Dude Network at /Spidey Dude Network, except for Twitter, because I didn't have enough characters, but at Spidey Dude Radio on Twitter, at Spidey Dude on Twitter is my personal Twitter page. Apparently, Cowboys Insider has retweeted what I posted something about Cowboys, and yeah, that may end up blowing up on me here in a bit. That happened during the show. There is. I have been talking about doing some sports stuff, so there may be a sports related channel.
Man, how do you have time? How do you have so much time?
That's gonna be the big thing, is that it'll be, the thing about Spidey Dude Network is that for the most part I do it on Wednesdays. It's that Wednesday night okay, it's comic book day. Let's do it. Make My Mayday is not as frequent, so it's only once a month. So, or maybe twice a month. And so, that's kind of malleable. And then, but other than that, like, I have afternoons available. So afternoons and evenings. So for at least for now. Yeah. So, but yeah, thank you for allowing me to be on the show and yeah.
Thank you for joining me today, and everyone who is here live, Walter, Rob, Caden, everyone who is in the chat. Thank you very much. And then if you're watching this after the fact, why don't you do us all a favor? Leave your thoughts on Spider-Man for 2024. What were your highs, your lows? What did you love about Spider-Man this year? What did you hate about Spider-Man this year? And even what are you thinking about 2025 Spider-Man? Any Spidey related thoughts? Leave them in the comments down below. We are always interested, and we always want to hear what you have to say. So thank you very much for joining us. And be sure also to check out the Superman trailer reaction that I posted earlier today on our This Comics Cooks channel. That movie we will be reviewing next year when it comes out. We're going to have a great time. So don't forget, look up, and we will be there streaming for you and podcasting for you.